All right, so today what I wanted to do is just continue on with the law of sines. This is probably the most confusing thing in pre-calculus or trigonometry, whether it's college or high school, are these whole 0, 1, and 2 triangles. So today what I wanted to do is give you some more examples with what a 2-triangle solution should look like, and then give you a few problems for homework. So today is the 30th, and we're still on section 5.6. It's called the law of sines. Today will be the last day. This is called ambiguous cases. Ambiguous cases just means that we can get 0, 1, or 2 triangles. So let's take a look at an example. We're going to do 3 today. First example says that A is 60 degrees, B is 14, and side A is 15. So let's draw a normal triangle. And let's label it. So this would be 60 degrees. We know A and B. And we're going to find the height. The height, if you type in 14 times the sine of 60, comes out to be 12.1. Now side A and the height, side A is bigger than the height. So we compare sides A and B. And A is 15, B is 14, so in this case A is bigger than B. This gives us one triangle. Now some of you sent me emails on the quiz and you were telling me that you were getting like undefined or errors when you were doing law of sines. That's because you didn't do this first. So if you were one of those people that sent me an email and you were getting undefined, that's because there should be 0 triangles. The height would actually be larger than that side. So you're getting undefined because the law of sines wouldn't work if there's no triangles. So let's go ahead and solve this one triangle, and then I'll show you some more interesting examples. All right, so using the law of sines, I'm going to write 15 over the sine of 60 is equal to 14 over the sine of angle B. So if I cross multiply and divide, I'm going to do 14 times the sine of 60 is equal to 15 times the sine of B. If I divide both sides by 15, I get that the sine of B is equal to 0.808, and you never want to round this, so just leave it alone, and then at this point you take the inverse sine to figure out what angle B is. So if I take the inverse sine, I get angle B is 53.9. And if B is 53.9, if I do 180 minus 53.9 minus the 60, this comes out to 66.1. All right, and then we just have to figure out what side C is. So I'm going to use what they told us. 15 over the sine of 60 is equal to side C over the sine of 66.1. And if we cross multiply and divide, C times the sine of 60 is equal to 15 times the sine of 66.1. And divide both sides by the sine of 60. 15 sine 66.1. Close the parentheses and then divide by sine of 60. My calculator's telling me side C is 15.8. So I'm just going to double check. Largest angle, largest side, smallest angle, smallest side. So everything looks like it works. A couple more examples. What about if I told you angle A was 65 degrees, side B was 14, and side A was 13? Let's take a look at what this triangle would look like. First thing we always do is we find the height. And 14 times the sine of 65, the height would be 12.7. So because side A is larger than the height, we have to compare sides A and B. Side A is smaller than B, which gives us two triangles. So what I'm going to do is, I know this is kind of the most dreaded case. I'm going to show you how to solve the one triangle, and then I'll show you how to find the second triangle. I think that's probably the best way to go. So I'm going to set it up, A, B, C, and then this is going to be A, B, C. I'm going to do my law of sines, where I write side A over the sine of angle A is equal to side B over the sine of angle B. And if we cross multiply and divide, I'm going to do 14 times the sine of 65, and I'm going to divide that by 13. This comes out to 0.976. And then if we take the inverse sine of both sides, I'm getting angle B is 77.4 degrees. And if that's 77.4, to get angle C, I'm going to do 180 minus those two angles. I get the missing angle 37.6 degrees. And then to figure out side C, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do what we're given. So we're given side A over the sine of angle A, and that's equal to side C over the sine of angle C, which we just found was 37.6. So if we cross multiply and divide, 13 times the sine of 37.6, and then divide by the sine of 65, I'm getting side C is 8.8. Alright, so this is one triangle. The way that we get our second triangle is we take this side, that's 13, and we draw it over here. So this blue triangle is going to be our second one. Let me show you what that looks like. So we're going to have A, B, C. A is 65. We know that this side is 13 because I just moved this 13 over. This is 14. And I'm going to set up my second triangle. I know that A is 65 degrees, side A is 13, side B is 14, and here's the trick. The way that you always get the second triangle is you take this angle that you figured out and you write it outside of the second triangle. All the angles in a straight line add up to be 180, so to get angle B, you're going to do 180 degrees minus 77.4. 180 minus 77.4 is 102.6 degrees. To get angle C, we do 180 minus 65 and 102.6. And that comes out to 12.4. And the only thing we're missing, 102.6. Wait. The only thing we're missing is side C. So the way that we're going to figure this out is I'm going to take side A over the sine of angle A is equal to side C over the sine of angle C. And if you cross multiply and divide, 13 times the sine of 12.4 divided by the sine of 65 comes out to be 3.1. Okay, so we could see that the smallest side is opposite the smallest angle. Clearly the largest side is opposite the largest angle. I'll do one more example, and then I'll expect you to do 3 for tonight's homework. You always want to check to see how many triangles there are. All right, so for our third example, side angle A is 70 degrees, side B is 15, and side A is 14.5. I hope this microphone's a little bit better. Well, a lot bit better. I'm using my Apple earpods. They're not wireless. I can't afford that. So let's figure out the height, which is B times the sine of A. So 15 times the sine of 70 would be 14.1. So side A is bigger than the height. So then we look to see sides A and B, and side A is smaller, which means that we have two triangles. So let's go ahead and figure out what they are. I'm going to go a little bit quicker here. If you need me to slow down, you can pause the video, leave me a comment, or send me an email, or just rewatch my last example. But let's see what we get here. So A is 70 degrees, side A is 14.5, side B is 15. Okay. So using the law of sines, I know that 14.5 over the sine of angle A is going to equal 15 over the sine of angle B. So I'm going to cross multiply and divide. 15 times the sine of 70 divided by 14.5. Make sure you close the parentheses. I'm getting the sine of angle B is equal to 0.972 whatever. And if you take the inverse sine of both sides, you get 76.4 degrees. If we do 180 minus angle A and B, 180 minus 70 minus 76.4, that comes out to be 33.6 degrees. And then to get side C, we're going to do side A over the sine of angle A is equal to side C over the sine of angle C. And we know that angle A is 70.6. Or, sorry, angle A is 70. All right, so let's see what happens here. 14.5 times the sine of 33.6 divided by the sine of 70. I'm getting side C is 8.5. Smallest angle, smallest side, largest angle, largest side. So that looks good. So now we have one more triangle to find. So I told you the way that we always set this up is we just draw this side over here. And we put this angle on the outside of our second triangle. So this is going to be our second triangle. $70 degrees. This outside angle is going to be 76.4 degrees. 14.5, 15, let's go ahead and find our second triangle. All right. All right, so to find B, what we're going to do is just do 180 minus the 76.4. And that's 103.6 degrees. And then to get angle C, we're going to do 180 minus angle A and B. And I'm getting 6.4, tiny little angle. It's actually a little acute. Ooh, bad joke, bad joke. Hopefully not too many of you were listening and you heard that joke. If you heard that joke, leave a comment in the section below. All right, so anyway, let's see what we have here. We're going to do 14.5 over the sine of 70, and that's going to equal side C over the sine of 6.4. 14.5 times the sine of 6.4 divided by the sine of 70 comes out to be 1.7. Smallest angle, smallest side, largest angle, largest side. All right, so for homework, this is what I would like you to please do. Homework on practice 5-6, I would like you to please do numbers 2, 4, and 9. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.